But I feel you.
Nice.
It is a lot.
Hi, Chad. Nice to have you here tonight with us. Okay. I'm riding high on banana split energy post BLT. So I give me a minute. I'll bring the level down around break time. Um, hmm. All right. So excited. We've got such a thrilling session tonight. I don't
Yes.
have yeah. I don't have a scene intro, but our crews found themselves on an undercover mission on behalf of the Sky Pirates. They need intel on how the UAF is so easily locating their when and where their ships will be. They've confiscated their ships. They've dispatched so many of their uh, pirate crew. So here our crew is ready to give back for the services provided by the Sky Pirates, like not being shot out of the sky, among other things. Um, they all have fictitious identities. They're all role playing as cadets in the UAF here for training while they do their spycraft. Maybe they can use some of what they learn to find out to get their answers. But for now, last week we kind of had an introduction. Relith had some struggles with authority and rules, but found that perhaps there was some bonding between her and it's basically a drill instructor. I don't have my notes set properly yet, so I forget what we're calling them. Troop commander, right, troop commander. Zia and Sinister did some excellent work with live data analytics. Maybe to their chagrin, as they weren't aware that it was live analytics. They seem more like a test or practice. But they don't want to waste resources, so they thought, hey, we'll put the new folks to use. Everyone had a good night's rest. Even Breedleth, I think, got home just enough time to get a full night's rest before being woken up. And everyone is being corralled by the MPs, brought out of the barracks and lined up over by, let me put our battle thing up here, over by the surveillance building. Where every 12 cadets or so, there's an MP that is casting magic, detect magic. Sinister recognizes. One of them looks over, like right at what must be a glowing point on Sinister.
Deathus.
I'm so thirsty. The bacon. Okay. Oh, it's got me good. I ran out of water too. That's no good. Okay. I'm gonna get things started. I'm gonna quickly grab some ambience here, some ambient music. I think we had a nice, like a nice kind of sounds of summer on this island. Let's see, would have been last Saturday, Sunday, Saturday, Friday, Saturday. Saturday sounds right.
Oh.
Saturday. No, I don't know. I don't see it in my history here. Oh well, I'll do that later then. Let's get down to business and defeat the Huns.
Yes.
Yeah.
Man, you must be swift as a goose. Okay.
Nice. I like the because as soon as you hear it, you got to sing it. And whenever any of my kids do, I always like to. I just start singing like just around the river bend. Like I'll take part of what they're singing. They're like, no, you can't do that. That's not it.
Dad.
Man, I thought I could be sly and just pull up this. I don't see it anywhere. I'm just gonna make it thunder again because I see that one. Just kidding. All right. So the MP Sinister. Now this is happening to everyone. I don't think anyone else had anything magical. I don't think anyone else brought anything. Grundy, I think, brought the small knife, maybe? Does that sound right? Okay. All right.
Might have been confiscated.
So far on your person still. Cadet? Did you bring a memento from home? Let's see it.
I'm sorry. How to do? You caught me in the middle of stretching.
Let's see it, Cadet.
I was told, I don't know if you heard, I was told by the last command on the condition of me coming to this here training facility that this was well taken care of.
It'll be taken care of till the end of the week.
I thought y'all was well aware of this situation because I don't know if they told you, but my mother is sick, and I just have this to keep an open communication in case I need to tend to her.
At this camp, unfortunately, it's protocol. Yeah.
But my dear mama,
This is sending stone then, because they can kind of detect the school of magic, but without like knowing for sure what it is. They're kind of taking it from
it's
context.
this here speaking rock. This here speaking rock of communication that my dear mama, my auntie gave in case I had to call my mama down in the holler and see
Oh,
if
call
she'd
out.
be okay.
Tell you what, still needs to be confiscated as protocol,
But
but
my mama,
we'll make sure that someone in surveillance uses a stone daily and checks in on your mom.
well, if it's all right, her name is Titania, and she might have to, if it's an emergency, you make sure I hear from it. I'm powerful attached to my mama.
Understood, of course. Holds her hand out. We'll make sure you know if anything happens. And you'll get it back at the end of the week. It'll be all right, Cadet.
You promise?
I promise.
You sure?
Uh,
Okay. He's gonna hand it to her, and he's gonna take note of where it went on them, just in case.
Okay.
Just in case he's.
They take out a pouch and place it inside and cinch it up, and take out a quill that doesn't have any ink on the end, but seems to write on the label on the outside of this pouch. They begin to prepare to write. What's your name, Cadet?
Zane Keen Seeker.
All right. Write your name across
But
it.
I was my previous commander. I thought already sent word ahead that this was okay to bring. I didn't know it was something that was foreboding.
We need to make sure we have a conversation with your previous command. Then this is not an area for that. Who was your previous commander? You put that pouch in.
I don't remember. I came with a corporal earlier. I just had to remember. Maybe. Oh, geez. Oh.
I know you're flustered, Cadet. It's day 2. You've probably heard the stories.
Scuttle. Okay.
Commander
Scuttle. I'm nervous, and I feel like I made a wrong impression already.
There'll be at least another 3
And,
cadets that have something on them. Cadet, don't worry.
Well, I came with a corporal dark draft. Maybe they know, but I don't exactly remember. He was really screaming in my face, like really up in my face, because I dropped the bucket and the mop, and he was all crawling up and down me, and I got real scared and stuff. And I had my mom on his brain, and like the whole time he's trying to.
Well, I'll make sure.
He's trying to overwhelm her.
Nice. I'll make sure we have a conversation with Corporal Dark Draft then.
And please don't lose it, because if anything was to happen to my mom while I was here, it would just be, I wouldn't know what to do.
We run a tight crew here, man. Sir.
I don't know what my mom.
All right, Cadet, you'll be fine. Let me give you a couple pats on the shoulder, and looks over to the other MP, like, nodding for clearance, and they put that in their front pocket, and they head inside the surveillance building.
Did I give him a hug?
Oh.
Trying.
Oh. It'll be all right, Cadet. It'll be all right.
But my mother. Okay.
Calls waves the other MP over. There, cadet. All right, in line. Come on, fall in and try. They head out, and the next one doesn't bother with you
Is there
long.
any way I could maybe,
Maybe what?
maybe I could try and get it back?
You can give it a shot if you want. You do see other MPs around scanning and stuff, but you can give it a shot if you'd like to. Just want to plug that back into your just what you know going on around.
Yeah, trying to be over dramatic, but at the same time, maybe trying to pick the pocket.
Yeah, make a sleight of hand check.
Come on, dice. Ooh. I got a natural 16, my sleight of hand.
Yeah.
16 plus 6.
Oh, you'll have to roll again. That's a tie. They got a
What was
22. They got a 22 as well. I'll have to roll again. I'll roll off.
Oh, okay. Do I
So that's
have
good.
to roll again?
Yeah, yep. You both got the same number. If you, I think you said 16 plus 6, right? Just to make sure I didn't.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, they got a 22 as well. But
Nice.
go ahead and roll sleight of hand one more time.
All right. Geez. Okay. Oh no.
They did worse
Oh,
too,
no.
so we'll see.
They can't. Altogether a 7.
Oh, okay. All right, they got a 14 this time. You try and thankfully because of the role play of like hugging them, they just think you're like being overly squirmy hugging. Like,
Yes.
cadet, pull yourself together. Be all right. They're just looking at you like they're gonna fail this training so hard if they can't keep themselves together. And they kind of separate you a bit and give a nod or salute and head into the surveillance. Where the other one also comes over and makes sure you're all right and then continues down the line.
And then you just hear it. Oh well, I can't talk to them. Just know that I'm cursing inside. I start to mind link everybody, and then I'm like, nope, don't do that.
Nope. Not here. Yeah. Nice. Okay. All right. I think everyone else, I mean, no one else aside from Grundy, which we'll get to in a sec, has anything outside of norm. So everyone else kind of gets their check. You all get a uniform, standard issue uniform, a fresh cadet uniform for here. It has like a special insignia on it for the training camp. And Grundy, as you go through, there's nothing magic to this small knife, of course, but they give everyone sort of a pat down and such, like, Corporal, I'm awfully sorry. You can't, you can't have that knife here. We'll keep it good and safe for you for the week and return at the end. Oh, you might be muted. Sorry.
Of course. Here, let me pull it out for you. I
Oh.
flip it over, hand it to him, handle first.
Oh, that's a fine knife, sir. Is that custom made?
It's a family heirloom. Belonged to my father.
All right, well, we'll keep it extra safe. And they tuck it into a similar pouch, a little longer. This one seems to have some heavier lining in it for the blade and such. And Corporal,
Dark Draft. Gavin Dark Draft.
thank you, kindly, sir. And they write out the name and cinch it up and place it in the inside pouch of their vest. Everything will be returned to course at the end of the week. Hope you found the course satisfactory, sir. This seems to be a private.
It suffices.
They walk off, and everyone's still sort of in line for a few minutes as they go down and check everyone. It's hot, another hot, sticky day. You're all like
Mm.
sweating already, even though it's whatever 8:30 we said in the morning. There's hardly a breeze at all. Humid as all get out. And lots of beautiful sounds of summer here in the trees, crickets and birds and such. But it's stuffy, and you're kind of looking around and trying to, stay focused and scan the area, get a good idea of the layout of the buildings and such. But you're waiting and waiting as little murmurs of people getting checked and talking to one another. Grundy, please make a perception check for me.
Perception. Oh god.
Lily's a lifesaver.
She is. She got me more water.
Yes.
Grundy don't see shit. I got a 6.
Ooh, okay. All right. It takes
Very
a
perceptive.
That's why you're. Ooh, the birds, the sounds, the harmonies of summer. It's captivating. You're not always on land often enough to appreciate the sounds of nature. You do notice, but not right away. You hear some mumbling a little closer to a few people down. And at one point in your surveillance of the area, you turn around and look, and the MP that had taken your knife talking to another MP. And they've got the bag out. And the other MP is looking, passes it back. And the MP that helped you, she points over to you. This is like 20 feet away. They both kind of look at you, salute, and the other MP comes over. Corporal Darkdraft, understand?
That's correct.
You take a quick glance, and I don't have my ranks up. This person's 2 ranks above you. They have an official outfit of this spy island, and they're in sort of an MP. They have the MP arm badge at least, but their uniform is at higher rank and whatnot. We need to speak just briefly, please. Inside the building, we'll cool off a bit. Follow me. And they take you off into the surveillance building. Get back to that. We'll let that simmer for a little bit. Okay. Everyone else goes through the usual process. For the whole middle section of the day, back to analytics. Analytics. May I have everyone except Grundy for now roll another investigation check. If you don't want to investigate the analytics, now that you know, or for the 2 of you that know, then you don't have to. You can fumble this if you want to.
It's an investigation.
Mm-hmm.
17 for Brela.
Oh, okay. Let's see what today's mark is. So sorry, Zia, if you're
Zia rolled a 12, so wouldn't have found much anyway, I guess.
nice, okay. All right, and Brilith, you had the 17.
Yes, correct.
Okay, Liazana,
10.
10. Okay, Sinister.
Dirty 20. He's like, oh no.
Okay. Well, today, Brilith and Sinister have found something. Sinister, do you want to make them aware of what you found today?
Is it another brothel? Because if it's another
Oh.
brothel, he's gonna be like,
Oh.
no. But he kind of wants to do good in this because it's a point of personal pride. So
Yeah. Well, so it's not a brothel, but it's an orphanage.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, F them kids, I guess.
Okay. Awesome. All right. So if you wanna call attention, it's a pretty. I will add that it's a pretty lucrative like setup that you've found here. Um, this is a place to get new identities. Uh, and it's been operating for a while. Is what you found.
He's like, oh, land of Goshen. I don't know. I think I found something. He's like,
Nice. Okay. One of the aides comes over, and she's like, it's hot in the class, and she's dripping a bit with sweat. Oh, yes, cadet. Sorry, I'm so sorry. I forgot your name. What's your name, cadet?
Cadet Keen Seeker.
Of course. Yes, cadet Keenseeker. Oh, she kind of leans on the desk. Well, what did you find?
I don't know exactly, but if I show you this, are you guys raiding orphanages? Are you going to do something bad to the kids?
Oh no, another orphanage. No, I mean we just pass the information along, but typically they sort something out, and
Exactly, do you do with this? What do you do with this information that we're finding? It seems like we're doing y'all's work for you.
oh, no, this is training. This is clearly it's working well. And we have
Oh.
dedicated teams that do this. The information we just pass up the chain of command, and decisions are made at appropriate levels of command. This does happen from time to time. Orphanages are used because people they feel will be reluctant to shut them down or pursue, or try and raid them. Of course, there's methods around that. Of
No,
course, yeah.
might not be doing something illegal. They might be doing, some, helping the kids.
Well, let's see. Maybe so. And she,
I would feel bad squealing on a bunch of kids.
I don't think it's the children. I'm sure it's just some of the people. Sometimes we save the people that run these orphanages. They're doing this against their will. The kids are under threat, and we end up doing them a service. He's going like page after page after page of info on this one. Like, yeah, I think the children will be fine. I imagine. But, wow.
Can you make sure that they'll be okay? Because I feel, I want to look good in front of all you guys, but not at the expense of innocent children.
This is simply data. Just consider it as that. She's trying to brush it off like a separate, not humanize it at all. This is simply data. You're finding information to help the UAF suss out. I'm sure the children. Can't be a good situation for them. It can't. And the UAF will
You
do what
don't
they
know.
can.
I mean, what if we're wrong? I mean, well, I I'll get back to looking for other discrepancies,
Alright.
and hopefully this emotional pain that I feel in my heart will go away. Thank you, I guess.
Of course, this would be a great scenario to bring up with Professor Yosvin and the ethics of spycraft. You'll have that class later in the week. There are very often very difficult decisions to be made. Thank you again. And
Bye, I guess. Thank you. Salute.
she's all right, and you carry on. Okay. Breelith, you've discovered something. Do you want to report it, or do you want to know what it is, and that'll inform you whether or not?
Yeah, what is it?
It's water.
It's a
It's good.
big gulp of water.
Oh, refreshing, hydrating. This one is a lesser philanthropist over in Atmos Isles. Lives in the upper residential ward. but is running a lot of illegal dealings, seemingly with pirates, but what UAF considers ne'er-do-wells, um, through these charities, receiving funding, uh, cleaning money, laundering money, and a number of other things.
Oh, Breela's for sure reporting that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. It's a little bit after Synesthesia, you get the same aid. Oh, she's just been running in and out of the classroom, down the hall, back. You've seen her run by. So you don't know what she's doing. She's been really busy today. She's like had it. You can tell. Oh, excuse me. Sorry,
Oh.
Cadet. Oh,
Okay.
I'm just. He's got a water
Yeah.
bottle. Too.
Did you need some water? Okay.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Cadet. Your name?
Oh, it's Margaret.
Margaret. Are you that?
Oh,
Your last name?
I'm sorry. It's Margaret Commonbrook.
Cadet Commonbrook. I'm sorry. I'm just my head's up here.
It's okay.
What have you found?
Uh, Breela will kind of show her, however the information came up. It looks like
Oh.
that they're using these charities. Doesn't look good. It looks I don't like it.
Yes, it does seem to be going. Money being laundered. That's a known pirate. Yes. Ah, another report. Excellent findings, Cadet. Commonbrook. Thank you. I'll be sure to let your teacher know, Professor Woodleaf. And fine work. Fine work. No report for today. Thank you so much. Good work. Keep it up. She folds up all the paper and hustles. She's got a hustle to her. She's out.
Yes. I love it.
All right. This is the first like 2 or 3 hours of analytics class. Grundy, as Corporal Darkdraft, you were brought in the surveillance room. Oh, thank you, Lily. Lily's the best. She's also our boss.
Lily!
Oh no, they're in my ears. But Steph said really, really loud for you. She says, "Oh, you probably heard that."
Mhm.
You were brought in. Surveillance is air conditioned through magic, naturally. But it feels. This MP brings you in and sits you down at a table in a room. I'll be right back. Can I get you coffee, water?
Tea would be nice.
I'll see what we have. And he did not return for almost 2 hours.
Oh.
But so, however that would make you feel, it doesn't have to make you feel anything. Maybe you're accustomed to this, but perhaps intentionally trying to put in a feeling of unease. The more time goes by, the more you look around, like this kind of looks like an interrogation room. Like there's a big mirror on the wall. There's one door in and out. And just a table and a chair on either side. Maybe a 5-foot wide table, 3 feet across. The chair isn't super comfortable, at least on this side. So almost 2 hours later, ME comes back and has a whole tray with tea and the teapot and the bags and little steep, or he's got the leaves and the little steeping thing. Sets it down. I apologize. Urgent matter came up. It's been tackled now. Set up to those above my pay grade and start steeping the tea for you. I took the liberty of an Earl Grey equivalent in this, whatever that is in this world. There we go. Sugar, honey, whatever you wish, of course. But while we wait, you mind if I, and he points to the other chair.
By all means.
Thank you, Corporal. Mm, mm. And he sits down. Just gonna see if I can find what. Here we go. Just give me them ranks. Okay. Oh, they're a sergeant first class, so that's actually 3 ranks above. Sergeant, staff sergeant, and sergeant first. This is just Army, which is what I'm gonna go by for this. So okay. I'm I already forgot what it was. Sergeant first class Ranticore. I just have a quick question for you, or two, if you don't mind. He's about ready, so he's, pouring and putting your plate and saucer and spoon over to you. Please make your tea. We can wait until the tea's made. Okay. Oh, my typing's so bad. Well, he leans back and puts one leg up, foot up on the other knee. We had an interesting run-in today with a cadet. Seemed simple enough. They, you know how cadets can be. They bring all sorts of knickknacks from home or sentimental items, sometimes not even knowing they have magic. Other times they do. This one has a sick mother. I assume you're uh, aware of him. Of course, you don't know anything about the sick mom, but play it however you want to. You do. They had a sending stone and insisted that they were instructed by you. Just takes an awkward moment to sip his coffee. On a sword, back down on the table. That that they could have it while here. Hold on to it and contact their mother daily. I figured I would I'll have some tea and see where the miscommunication is.
Well, must have been a miscommunication down the line. She was, he was given permission to bring communication device because family member
Of course.
emergencies, just in case.
Mm-hmm.
I had a very busy morning that day when they came in and asked for that, so might have slipped my mind to pass the message along.
I understand. Well,
I do apologize.
it's whatever, Corporal. Wanted to corroborate their story, and they I can understand. They seemed a bit prone to histrionics. And gives like half an eye roll.
Well, that's why we're all here, isn't it? Drum some discipline in there.
Yes. I hope they last a week. Too. Don't have much faith in it, but I hope so.
Well, you know, people do have a way of surprising.
They do. They certainly do. Well, Corporal, please enjoy the rest of your tea, and well, I'll be back in a little bit, and we'll see you back to your class. I'll make sure we give clear instruction to the cadet further than we have. thank you again for your time, Corporal.
Oh, thank you for your time.
Hmm.
And thank you for the tea. It's most excellent.
I agree. Some fine product here. Takes one more sip. Actually, he
I do
just
like my Earl Grey hot.
Mm.
Mhm. Mhm.
And he actually just doesn't sip it, just like the hot teas. He finishes it and sets it down. Steam almost coming out of his mouth as he
Nice.
and just gives a quick, like, curious look, and then be back shortly. And heads out of the room. He does come back pretty shortly after, like 10 minutes or so, maybe watching. Knowing when you finish your teas just after. And then escort you back through surveillance, the route that pre-designated for this. And as he leaves, he hands you off to another MP. Best of luck, Corporal. I'm sure I'll see you again.
Thank you. And pleasure talking to you. And I salute.
Salutes back and dismisses. All right. And then you're brought into over to analytics. MP stops outside the classroom. There's an aide that's running by on your left. Door opens up and you kind of walk into class like 3 hours late. It's like a whole day class, but here that the student goes in 3 hours late. But you find a seat, and if you want, go ahead and roll an investigation check. And see if you find anything in the analytics. It runs right through lunch today. No lunch break today.
Investigation?
Please.
God. I got a 9.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for a smart man, I am dumb as bricks.
Oh. It's tedious. It's a lot of paperwork, and there just happens to be nothing in your stack, You're looking like, no, there's nothing here. There's
Yeah, and sitting for 2 hours pretending everything is okay.
yeah, takes its toll.
I was a little tired. A little tired.
Nice. All right. Well, let me find. Oh, that's all the other stuff. Here we go. Around 6 o'clock in the evening. The worst heat of the day has come through, but it's kind of lingering even here at 6. It just hasn't broken yet, even though the temperature is starting to lower a bit. It's just trapped like in a greenhouse effect in the windowed classroom here in the building. Your instructor, Woodleaf, dismisses you all and says you'll be escorted to the next course. You might get that. I imagine everyone's pretty hungry, so there might be some feelings of, next course is the next 3-course meal. Is it like, what are you talking about next course? And MP guides you over to. I'll switch over to our battle thing here. Actually, I've got to fix an pick. Let's see. Bottom one. And let's bring this here. Okay. For our players, we have this map in our Discord. I'm so sorry I didn't relink it for tonight. But you were in the analytics building, and you're brought over to Practical Education Hall B. There's some nice wooded paths through here. Dusty road past some loose gravel, mostly dirt. But they're under some complete canopy, other broken canopy. Oh man, it just gives you some shade from the sun, even at this time of day. This is turning into the golden hour. Everyone's pretty like soppy, sweaty from sitting in a classroom all day in the heat, without much moving air. You're all escorted to practical education hall being split up into different classrooms. Can I have everyone roll a d6, please? Anyone odd goes into class 1. Anyone even goes to class 2. No, I'll go around and ask. Let me switch over to the other thing here. Okay, Z, what you got?
I got a 5.
Ooh, okay, you're class 1. Breatheth?
1.
Ooh, class 1. Liazana? 4. Ooh, class 2. Sinister? Sorry, it was jittery.
I got a 3.
Oh, okay, thanks.
I
Ooh,
got a
class
3.
1. Okay. And Grundy? 3, class 1. Let's roll for Ashavar. It's cocked. Dan, stop rolling like a maniac.
Ooh.
6. All right, so class 2. Ashavar is in Liazana's class.
I was about to say, I was like, am I giving my
No. All right. You pile into class with another like 24 cadets in each class. And you're waiting. Let's see, classroom 1, you're waiting for your teacher. Classroom 2, there's an instructor at the front of the room. They appear to be, you would probably guess, half elf. They have very trimmed, very tight haircuts, gray hair, and dressed very professor like movie. What's the word when it's cliche, professorship sort of appearance. And writing out part of a syllabus out on the board. Class 1, you're still waiting. No instructor. Waiting. Lisana, if you would please make a either an investigation or perception check as you're studying. Okay.
And
So
that was shit.
Oh no.
I got an 11, if that counts for anything.
Okay. That's like a B- for today. That's not terrible. Yeah, I mean, it's the teacher, the teacher's just very like they don't even talk for the first 30 minutes of class. They're just writing things on the board in handwriting. It's very difficult to read before they finally start up like a magic slideshow, like PowerPoint, and the thing changes, and it's just so tedious and drawn out in class 2. I should have Ashavar do a roll. I rolled a 1. So sorry, Ashavar. That's an F for today's class, Ashavar. I'm so sorry. Class 2, after about actually, let me have you all do everyone in class 1, which I think is Grundy, Sinister, Zia, and Breelith, if I recall.
Yeah.
Make a perception check, please. See if you can, get a feel for whatever's going on. Oh no, Zia, what'd you get?
It's evening, right? It's evening for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No disadvantage for me. A 6. Oh, Zia, you're just like want to eat. Where's the food? I can't concentrate on anything else. Breelith, what'd you get?
23.
Jeez, all right, hang on to that. Sinister.
I got a 14.
Okay.
No, wait, I didn't do the math. 13, sorry.
Okay. And Grundy?
I got a 12.
The thought of food is just on everyone's mind. Surprisingly, not Breeless as much as she's looking like Breeless maybe had it. I don't know. For whatever it is, Breeless like can we get this class started so we can get to food? I haven't eaten
Mhm.
since that. I don't even know if you
Yeah.
had breakfast today. Actually, there was no. No, I think you all had breakfast before you got lined up, but I can't remember now. But no lunch and no dinner. Whew.
His is probably distracted. He hasn't flirted with anyone for a while, so he's like,
Nice.
like, what's
Yeah.
up?
Nice. All right. Breathe. You're looking around and it dawns on you there you came in here with another 2 dozen people all from the analytics class, and you were paying attention to analytics but also like other people, and you see a person in here that was not in your analytics class. There are two. So this is sort of like a stadium seating. Like
Mhm.
there's a table each section up in a semicircle around this room with the proctor's table up front and like two big blackboards. And 2 rows down, each table only holds like 2 people. And a table to the right, you see an individual you definitely didn't see in analytics. And you see something doesn't quite fit. Maybe it's the hair. It's like that's not the way hair normally flows off one's head. Like maybe the material isn't hair. There's just something a little off. Is there anything you want to do with that information? It's been about 10 minutes so far.
The class hasn't started yet.
Nope, it's been about, we'll say maybe 15 minutes now.
Are there any empty tables beside them?
No, it's class is filled up.
Rilla's going to get up from her table
Mm-hmm.
and go up over to that table.
Mm-hmm.
Like kind of like she'll kind of like gather herself about halfway there and just be like, okay. And then she's going to, as she walks the last like 10 feet towards the table, is going to act like that she's looking for something.
Okay.
And kind of like look around. I'm sorry, excuse me. Kind of like look like a table before them,
Mm-hmm.
like moving 2 table, like or 2 tables down, moving.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. I
Mm-hmm.
I lost a pen in here, and sorry.
As you walk around, you get a better view of the front of this person. They appear to be half elven, a very sort of a squanched round face with rather slightly large eyes, half elven ears, and yeah, the hair it's resting on the shoulder and running down the front, but it looks just ever so slightly too rigid to be like hair that you're accustomed to, at least. It bends in a way that maybe isn't quite typical, human or half elven hair. Typical. That feels a little bit off. They're
She's
just
gonna
minding their
move
business.
to their table.
Mhm.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Excuse me. I just thought I was sitting at this table earlier, and I thought that I think that I might have dropped a pen. I'm just looking. I'm so sorry.
It's quite all right.
It doesn't.
I don't see one.
Sorry. Excuse. Okay. Yeah. I don't see it here. You didn't perhaps pick up a pen off of the asking the person that looks unnatural. You didn't perhaps pick up a pen off of the floor or anything, did you?
I just brought mine with me for class today.
Okay. All right. I'm so sorry. I'm really excited about the class though, right?
Oh,
Yeah. Aren't you? Hasn't this been just a great experience?
I'm very excited about class. Disguises. I mean, it's just feels like the height of spycraft to me.
Yes, absolutely. Wait, what class are we waiting for, Dan?
This is the disguise class.
Okay, this is the disguise class.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've never I've disguised myself a couple of times, but I'm not proficient
Oh.
at it, of course, which is why I'm here. Have you ever worked in disguises before?
A little here and there, but I wouldn't call myself a professional.
Insight check.
Go for it.
Oh, that's a natural 20 for a total of 24.
Oh, good, they had an 18. So all right. Yeah, they're lying.
Who are they with? Like you said, are they sitting with
Just
someone?
other students from the analyze
Okay.
class.
No one that looks off as well.
Yeah. With that perception
Okay.
check, everyone else looks like you've seen them all day.
Okay. Okay. Well, if you find a weird pen on the floor, here she'll get out of her bag. Oh no, she doesn't have her bag with her. She doesn't have anything with her.
Oh no.
My name is Margaret Commonbrook. You can just look for me. I can't be missed. But if you see the pen somewhere, in this class, it's probably mine.
All right.
It has a little kitty head on top of it.
Oh,
Not a real one,
dark.
but like
Oh.
a fake, like a little imitation. Yeah, okay, all right.
Maybe by the end of this class, you can be missed.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Well, it was nice. It was nice meeting you.
They're gonna do an insight check on you.
Okay.
They're just getting a read for whether or not you can tell through their thing. So if you want to be deceptive about that, you can roll a deception roll. If you don't care if they read that, then you can just let them know.
I mean, I'm sure Brave would probably try to be deceptive about it.
Okay.
Well, she's not gonna be that deceptive. That's a 6.
Okay. They are kind of laughing and chuckling at that, and stands up. Very astute. You can have my seat. And they walk down a few tables and down the center row up to the proctor's table, and they pull off their ears and their hair and switch just a few things and pull from under their desk.
Just like in shock, eyes wide, just like, and like just like slowly like back down into the seat they got out of.
Nice. Yeah, well, that's usually takes a fair bit longer if it happens at all, and pulls out takes off a few layers and then has a sort of an aquamarine like shawl almost, but it's very thin material. Looks very comfortable and weather appropriate, kind of over her back, and ties it off. Well, good evening, class. Glad to have you all here. My name is oh, my name is Isabel Laughingsteel, and it's a pleasure to meet you all. Meanwhile, Liazada, your class is so boring. It's so boring. You're learning nothing. I'm so sorry. You're learning stuff.
She's
You get to be
probably
minus.
she's probably gonna like slowly start like laying her head down. She doesn't care at this point.
Awesome. It's amazing. So is your teacher here, Isabel Laughingsteel, seems to be maybe an appearance. It's tough to tell, across different, races here. Like half elf, looks maybe mid 30s. So could be maybe anywhere from there to like 60. I think they live just a little bit longer than their human counterparts. But she has a short brown. It's sort of like almost like a mohawk. It's just like it has a little bit of lean to it. It's fuzzy and messy, and it's all just buzzed on either side. Pulls out, kind of wipes some magic off of her eyes, and has crystal blue eyes you can see from the back row. Her skin is sort of like a rough red color. She is about 5'5". Yeah. as she goes on and teaches the class, she does a fair bit of like squinting every so often. She looks at people or asks questions. Can I have everyone make a history check, please, quickly? I'm sorry, everyone in this class. I'm so sorry, Lisa.
Wow.
You might get to do it later. We'll see. I know.
Are you going around?
I am. Yep. See what you get.
So very surprisingly, Zia got an 18,
Okay.
which makes no sense because she's not good at history at all. But
Nice. Well, in this case, it might make sense. This is sort of like a recollection from your recent history. So
gotcha.
nice. Sorry, 18 breatheth?
Natural 20 for a 24.
Wow, okay. All right, Sinister.
17.
Nice. Okay. And I'm sorry, actually, Grundy, you wouldn't I'm so sorry. You wouldn't be able to do a roll for this one. Because you wouldn't know this other
Would
person.
Sinister know stuff? Or is this just like
This is well, in this moment, Sinister, Breelith, and Zia, it takes a minute. You're like, now, the name, Laughing Steel. Like, have I heard this?
yeah.
Have I heard this? And, it's not a super popular name, so it sticks out a little bit. But you did recently deal with a Lily Laughing Steel
Yeah,
on
the lady in the
Atlas.
praying, the praying hands.
That helped get you
That's
into
the
the,
thief.
yep, under the prayer.
I did not trust her.
Or the Wanderer's Plea. Yeah, she's the Thieves Guild member. And so maybe no relation, but I just want to put it out there that it is a name, you know.
Ooh.
And she seems to have a similar accent for what that's worth. But again, I'm not saying it is, just that.
So
Yeah.
everyone with the same accent's related?
No, just adding another little bit of information.
I'm kidding. I'm giving you a hard time.
Nice. Well, let's let the class begin. Let's ask our brightest pupil here. Cadet, it was
It's common brick.
lovely. Cadet Commonbrook. What is it? Clearly you noticed something was off. I left 3 things to be obvious. Tell me which one, if or however many you found.
The hair
Ah,
was the telltale sign. Just
right.
that it looked unnatural for a human or a half elf.
Right.
It looked different. Also a little bit, I think, with the face shape. I think
Mm.
looked a little off. Those were the 2 main things that I noticed.
Well, that's actually modeled after my grandmother. But
I didn't say that it was. I mean, it looked fine. I just that was just what I noticed
Seems
as
like
kind of different.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, the hair was correct. That's one of them. It's very easy when working with the disguise kits. If depending on where you procure them or if you make them yourself, to get the hair wrong. Very difficult to simulate humanoid hair naturally. There are so many types and variations, tightness to curls and thinness and everything. That it's very, very difficult to get it to look like natural hair without it being natural hair. So that's lesson 1, and starts writing out about like it's the whole breakdown on things, the components of a disguise kit that you might want to check. Might be subpar if you own one, or if you're looking to get one. What to, check when checking out, in parentheses, your disguise kit when you're buying it.
Okay.
Sort of thing. So you get to go through a lot of that. The class goes on. It goes on until like 9:30 at night. and stomachs are growling.
Oh, Brayla's enraptured. Brayla's definitely interested.
Nice. Well, good. At the end of the class, well, not the end of the class, but around 9:30. You're each given a mock disguise kit. It's like a rudimentary disguise kit for classwork.
Subpar.
Right. That's exactly what we're here to look for. You'll store these here in the class, and she points over to like storage lockers. Every morning, it's your duty to check and make sure that everything that you see in it right now is in there. I might go through, I might not. I might rearrange things, might take some things out or swap them out with something of a different caliber. So keep a careful eye out. It's going to be part of your grade.
Okay.
And I'd like each of you to spend the next, I'm going to give you 30 minutes to make a simple disguise and apply it to yourself without a mirror or any help of taking a look at yourself. And we'll go around and take a peek. Time started 5 minutes ago. Off you go.
Okay. Okay.
You've got 25 minutes. So there's a couple ways that you can approach this. Is anyone proficient with a disguise kit already?
No.
Oh, okay, Sinister. Or just Sinister. Sinister, you're going to be able to apply your proficiency bonus to whatever this roll is going to be, which I think at this level's, oh my gosh, I haven't opened. I think it's 3. I think it's 3. Okay, thank you. But for everyone else, you're just going to roll. You could do an intelligence check if you want and base it more on like the design. It's going to be 2 rolls, actually. I guess one will play into the other. So let's, the 4 of you, roll an intelligence check to see like how clever you are with the design in this 25 minutes. And Sinister, you can add +3. I'm going to go backwards this time. I'll start with Grundy. A 2! Oh no!
Oh my god, no!
Oh, this first check sets the DC for the second check. A 2. Oh, Grundy. Oh, you poor sweet soul. Okay, Sinister.
I got a 15.
All right, solid. Okay, nice. Breatheth,
Can I use my lucky?
if you'd like to, go for it.
Because I rolled a 4.
Oh,
Okay, that's better. I can deal with this. What roll was that? In intelligence?
yes, the
Is
first one's
intelligence?
intelligence.
Okay. So that is an 18.
Nice. All right, well done. Zia?
I thought I was gonna have the lowest one because I rolled a 3,
Oh.
but at least it wasn't the worst one.
Nice, nice. Oh.
Sorry.
Oh.
I feel like the logic though is half elf, half orc kind of would be really tough to disguise.
Yeah, it's true. That's true. You know what? I'm gonna say, Liazana, over in your class, because you're so astute and you've got your B minus, you're gonna do the same thing at the end of class, just a little less flair. So if you don't mind rolling an intelligence check for yours, it'll be a straight roll because for you it'll be disadvantage for poor Ashavar because she did not. Those aren't bad rolls. Okay.
Ashavar's proficient in disguise
Oh,
as
she
well.
is. Thank you. Okay, good. That bumps that up a good bit.
Okay, I'm gonna go grab my actual dice here in a second.
Okay.
I keep getting shit
no.
rolls.
No, Trisha.
My computer hates me. I rolled an 8.
8. Okay. Okay.
Womp womp.
Well, Ashavar ended up with a 16, even at disadvantage, thanks to her proficiency. Rolled a 13 and a 14. Okay, so you've conceptualized your disguise in the first 10 minutes. Now it's time to execute the application. So can I have all of you, please, including Liazana, roll the dexterity check it requires to apply this? If you so Sinister, you can again add your +3 because you're proficient with this stuff. I'll start. Let me do a quick one for Liazana, get that out of the way. All right, 13. All right, Ashavar's is adequate. She gets a B minus. Because this instructor is just like by the book, technical. Liazana, what
Okay.
did you get for dexterity?
The computer heard my threat.
Nice. Yes.
I rolled a 21.
Oh, nice. Okay. You have impressed the teacher that you thought surely could not be impressed. Even brought a little spark of life back into their expression. Oh, that's marvelous, Liazana. Liazana, that's marvelous, Cadet. I'm so sorry. What's your name again?
My name.
Yes.
Well, my friends call me Liz. Elizabeth Chaucer.
Cadet Chaucer. Fine. Remarkable work. I hope, look forward to see what else you bring to class.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You may remove it and store your goods in the locker for tomorrow or for next class, and you're excused to the cafeteria for dinner. Fine work.
Thank you very much. And she salutes.
Mhm.
Salutes.
You salute back. Okay. Grundy, what'd you get for your dexterity? Check.
I got a 10.
All right. Yeah, DC was so. I mean, it's just. Yeah, it's difficult. I mean, it's a skill you haven't used before, right? No one masters it right away. And you found it difficult with your features to kind of navigate with the disguise kit provided. The things to do. So, Isabel Laughing Steel. Oh, that's it looks like I don't know. You look like I need to bring it to the hospital. But that can work sometimes. I think this is a good learning experience that sometimes disguise kits you just can't go with the run of the mill what comes with it. You've got to improvise, you've got to craft your own. And by the end of this class, you'll each handcraft each component your own disguise kit. Looks back at you, Randy. We'll see to it that you find one that works best with your features, but hopefully this was a good learning experience for you. It goes over like to
This
them.
was the wrong shade of blush.
Nice. Yeah. Professor Laughingsteel goes over to Sinister. And what did you get, Sinister?
24.
Oh, I don't remember you coming into my class. And is it really excited that you did so well?
Full drag, probably just like blending,
Nice.
shading, contouring, and all.
I love the contour. That's just it's remarkable. I can't wait to see what you can do when we get you fine-tuned with a custom kit. I think you're gonna do quite well, this class, Cadet. Fine work.
Oh,
Let's give a round of applause. And everyone kind of, some people are like they did really poorly and they're not happy about it. Oh, good work, good work. And they continue walking along to Breelith that got a
19.
Oh, I think you took some fine notes in this class already today. That's remarkable. Now, I'd like you all to pay attention. So, for folks with, she kind of gestures over to Grundy and, to probably to Zia, like for folks that are have a grander stature than others, there are things that you don't want to accentuate and things you do that make it very easy to switch up your appearance, and kind of covered some subtle notes on that. Cadet Common Water, it was
It's common brick.
Common Brook, right. Has done a fun job marking several of these, as you'll note. It kind of uses you an example, like, do you mind? I'm just gonna
No.
all
No.
right.
Mhm.
And kind of moves your head around and stuff. Just the glass. Very well. I would say another round of applause for Cadet Commonbrook.
Really like gives like an awkward like half bow.
Nice, nice. Your chair hits the little wall, the stand. uh, Zia.
Sinister is slightly jealous.
Oh no. Awesome.
I mean, Sinister, you taught Brilith so well.
So well.
It was all
Mm.
because of your teaching. Like,
Nice.
Oh, Brian. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, Zia, she goes over to you. What did you get?
so I got a 21.
Okay.
So here's the thing I'm
Mhm.
thinking, right? So
Mhm.
Zia couldn't come up with anything creative in any way
Mhm.
whatsoever. But Bo was able to kind of stand in front and kind of say, like, no, no, yes, like without the mirror.
Nice.
And so because Zia couldn't think of anything, ended up going with the pirate disguise.
Wow.
That is amazing. Okay.
Yep.
Oh,
That's my thought. That's my thought.
love it. That's a lot. But well done. Oh, I would say that if could use a little bit of work on the design itself. But the way you've applied everything without a mirror is pretty incredible. So this is an example of what you don't want to get too flashy with things, or lean too far into what you've seen or heard in tales of it can you arrive and it's nothing like that. It's best to just go subtle and lean into it when you arrive at your mission. But
Reela's taking notes.
but the execution here, look at how finely this is done without the aid of any mirror, and covers like a bunch of the execution of beautiful. I'm gonna say we'll give you snaps, right? Snaps all around. Let's not quite a clap.
I'm side-eyeing Zia like, what? Where did this come from?
Everyone's suddenly amazing in the thing, almost. We'll all get there. Okay. Class finishes up like 10 o'clock at night. Right, well, this ends day 2. I'm sure you're all a bit hungry. I'm gonna excuse you all in about 2 minutes to go to the cafeteria, get your fill of food.
Reela's stomach rumbles.
Now, I'll advise you to be careful. You're gonna want to go and fill your stomach 3 times over. This is all part of the training. You're gonna be in scenarios where you don't get to eat for quite a while. If you show up and you're undercover and you're scarfing your face because it looks like you haven't eaten in a week, it's gonna stand out. There are a lot of facets training, and you are being watched now. And every minute you're here, surveillance keeps a careful eye on everything. So make sure you don't take a step out of place. Make sure that you always keep in mind that just like in the field, it's all part of the training. In the field, you don't know if you're being surveilled or not. So you have to assume that every moment you're being watched or your cover's blown. What we'll learn in this class: disguises. Frequently, it's simply a matter of finding a way to flee if you've been compromised, or if you're caught under surveillance when you shouldn't be. These are means to get out. This is not something that you do for 7 hours at a time, unless it's minor adjustments. You don't go to a party in full disguise. You tweak a few things that are minor. So when people remember you, they remember, oh, all right, that person with the bulbous nose. That person with the really wide eyes. They're just big, you know, like my grandmother, and she just kind of looks over at Breatheth again.
Stunning
Subtle
grouse.
things. Nice. I think that you're a fine class of cadets and other ranks. I think you'll do just fine. Get ready for training. Go enjoy some dinner. I'm sure I'll see you all tomorrow. Dismissed. That's a salute. And everyone, you know, the other cadets get up, do their salute, and until you all do, and then she releases it. And there's MPs outside to see you over to the cafeteria. We're able to fill your bellies with super delicious food. There's as you're walking by, sorry, you'll finish you know, walking over to the cafeteria. There's a couple of people you see step out of some outhouses. Whoo! Oh, it's made room for dinner. And with that, we'll take our bio break.
Disgusting.
I'm so sorry. I'm half sorry. So for anyone that I know, yeah, you got me. For anyone that doesn't know, we take about a 10-minute bio break. When we get back, we'll continue our week-long training here. Yeah, look forward to it. We'll keep our audio hot because we are in that way we can chat with you. Chat, ask us your questions. Well, otherwise, we'll see you in about 10 minutes.
Yep.
Ooh. Excellent.
Dan's gotta get more water.
For real. You got water?
I've had too much water.
Oh no! Ah, nice.
I had to keep up the pretense of drinking actual tea. Because I
Awesome.
had tea, I finished it. Now this is just water with a tea bag in it.
Yum.
Yeah, so I'm an alibi now, am I?
That was great. I didn't know there were buses in this world. You got thrown under this one.
Oh. I'll be right back.
Okay, I'm gonna do the same here, I think. Boop. Oh, thank you, Chris, for the cover. That's nice. Nice. Oh my goodness. Oh hi, it's the ref. I'll break indeed. Oh shit.
Isn't that just like the best Be Right Back screen ever?
Oh yeah.
I love it.
just, yeah.
Just
But it's even better if you can hear the music that comes with it. It's "Fly Me to the Moon."
Nice.
Incredible.
I approve.
Like that was an
Yeah,
accident.
good
It looks
fun.
like he's having a good time. Like he did that intentionally. Like, wee.
That's like if Miami decided to do that, you know he would.
Yeah, he would. He would totally do that.
You know what I'm glad we don't have in this campaign?
What?
Void cigars.
Oh man. Thank goodness. Thank goodness.
The amount of times we've had to pull them out of that whatever trouble they're in just because they had decided to get high.
Well, my
Like,
character was not really helpful in that situation either. Kind of egged it on, or didn't do anything to stop it.
mhm.
Yeah, go ahead. Why not?
I do miss ridiculously wealthy Hein.
Yeah. It was,
That was insane. Like, oh yeah, you find out that one of your party members is actually a legit billionaire.
No.
why
Yeah,
not?
guess who had to
Dun,
guess who had to
dun.
arm the party afterwards?
Oh, jeez.
Thank you for the tattoos. I got 2 magical tattoos.
You know
out of
what? I
it.
actually
Hmm.
forgot to incorporate that in the other character. Because remember I remade Hein?
Yeah.
I should have included the tattoos of protection.
Pee
Absolutely.
poo, pee poo. Oh, that's amazing.
Pew, pew.
Oh,
No, it's
I look
don't
at it
dead
and say
open
pee pee poo
inside.
poo. Oh.
It's like the sock shoe argument. Do you say pee pee poo poo or do you say pee poo pee poo?
Nice, nice. I love it. I'm gonna take our BRB screen off. Since I'm sure we're all eager
Mm-hmm.
to get back to the outhouse.
I've been more eager in my life.
Can't go to the outhouse when you got nothing in you.
Yeah, yeah. What do you want me to do?
I mean, I had tea. That's it.
Nice. Oh, all right. Let me move this back over here, and we've got that set. And I think I'm all set. Yep. Okay. So we are back. Cafeteria time. It's been a long day. Every trainee here has had a very long day. You could tell. If you had any doubt in your mind that other people went through a whole day without eating and just staring at paperwork and everything else, it's wiped. The doubt's wiped from your mind as you step into the cafeteria and see people lump out at whatever it is now, 10:15 or so at night, getting their food, sitting down. As soon as people start filling up, they're getting tired because it's so late. Is there anything any of you want to do while in the cafeteria tonight?
Or go find John Arrows. And I'm gonna brag about my day in full
No.
drag, probably.
Nice. Yeah. Awesome. Sweet. They make you keep the disguise kit there, but you can keep on. I mean, you don't have to put makeup back and stuff. So you keep on all the contouring and everything else that you want.
I spent so much time trying to get this done without a mirror. He is very proud of his work. So, you know.
Nice, nice. It looks really good too. Yeah. Oh, wow. That's really good work. I did, and he's got like his work from the day. I'm gonna say he was in probably classroom 2. My teacher was a bore, complete bore, but I still managed to pull off this incredible look. Pulled off with my frame and everything. Managed to look like a half orc. Like clearly he's not really like half orc size, but he's like, yeah. Had the fangs and everything. Yeah, it's good. But yours, wow. You're selling it. Amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh
You know, I
man.
tried. I
Uh,
didn't have enough time to get the hair the way I wanted it, but you know,
gotcha.
I, I, I mean, I didn't mean to get it way. Sorry.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I'm a little choked up having to eat all this food real quick, you know. And
Mm. Yeah, what's the deal with not letting us eat
Yes.
today, huh?
oh, it's one of those things where they're trying to, you know, deprive us, to batter us mentally to see how we handled it.
Uh.
But you know, if you're used to being stealth as me, you don't have to eat. I just exist off of air.
Oh,
Well-
wow. That's incredible. I don't know. I don't know how they expect me to keep this muscle mass if they're not giving me enough protein in the day, you know? And he goes on about
Well,
his workout routine for a bit.
Muscle mass is underrated, is overrated. You know, it's all about the tensile muscle, you know, the flex. You know.
I'll have to look into that. Yeah, so you got you know, one of the MPs giving you a hard time this morning in line? What's all that about?
Well, it's personal. You know, it's
Enough said.
I mean, you know, truth be told, it's none of your business, but you know, it has to do with my family members, and you know, I get a little emotional about my family.
Mhm.
What's it to you?
Family. Just kidding. Yeah, families. I'm an idiot. Right, family's everything. Yeah, you don't have to say nothing. I get it. I get it.
Did you happen to come across anything in your analytics classes? Because yesterday and the day before I was finding discrepancies. It seems like they're having us I don't know, run some sort of counterintelligence on random people around the realm, and it looks I don't know. What do you think?
It yesterday was just nothing to find. Okay, found 2 bits of pretty good information. So Professor Woodleaf said. They just they sort through all sorts of transactions and other things, as Professor Woodleaf was saying, and they just set aside some of this that's been deemed lower level, and ask us to look for patterns. That's the biggest thing they want to impress upon us here is sort of how things work. Before we get out there in the field, I guess.
We're investigating regular people around the realm because, you know, today I found discrepancies in an orphanage, and I'm just wondering if that sort of thing is actually, you know, are we really doing some good around here? Do you know?
Of course, UAF is the last line of defense against pirates and marketeers and everyone that we're doing research on. If people aren't good, you see they're doing shady transactions behind an orphanage. Those can't be good people. We're doing good work here.
Maybe. Okay. Yeah, we're doing great work, I guess. Seems like we're just not, you know, it seemed like we would be actually, you know, trying to benefit the people across the realm. I mean, if you think about it, the material conditions that lead the people to piracy, if we, you know, maybe help with the conditions that lead to the you know, eliminate the conditions that lead to poverty and desperation and piracy, that it kind of works itself out instead of just, you know, they might be hungry, and you know, I don't know, maybe if we worked on the societal ills first instead of penalizing. I don't know. I'm hungry, and you know.
You're speaking to Dan's heart, but this doofus doesn't want to hear any of it. It's breaking my heart inside to have to not acknowledge that. I can't even think of anything. He just shifts the conversation. He just
This
doesn't
mashed
get it.
potatoes
Yeah.
is good, isn't it?
No. Oh, Christy, kill me. Well, I don't know. That's some big thinking. I'm just here to do my best, raise up the ranks, and oh, I don't know if you heard. Now I know they're telling us that we're under constant surveillance here, and they seem to be there's some surveillance because they pulled me aside earlier, and they knew a couple things I did yesterday. I thought no one was around or watching, but few of us heard from from a corporal, that there's a place where we can get just a little bit of partying outside of surveillance. Uh,
Now you're talking my language. You mean you know a little bit of hooch, a little bit of, or a little bit of.
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Now, there's those 4 ships out there in the dock.
Yeah.
There's one just outside of analytics, um, down in the hull,
Uh-huh.
empty. Uh, I can't think of some. I was gonna have some sassy comment,
Mm.
but completely empty after about 7:30 at night till about 2 a.m. Consider yourself invited in case you want to find your way out there.
All right. Thank you.
Of
Thank you.
course. All right, and you get to finish up your meal as soon as there. Anything for anyone else in the cafeteria tonight?
No, Britta's just sitting by herself, just looking sad.
It just kills me.
Sinister feels a tap on his shoulder.
Hmm.
Cadet, a word, please.
Oh, yes, sir, Corporal, sir. I'll be right.
Of course.
So I try to pull us to like sort of a quiet and a busy enough area that where conversations are like pretty loud.
Mhm.
I'm like, so
Yeah, dude.
what
What's
was
up?
that all about earlier?
Uh-oh.
They totally. He's gonna cast message. He's gonna do it discreetly.
Mm.
The spell components is I think, hold on, if I'm not mistaken.
Just let me
it's a
know if there's
cantrip.
like if there's any verbal or somatic components. Verbal, I'm not worried about because it's conversation, but
The only well there is, but I just gotta point my finger kind of thing. It says you point your finger, so I guess
okay.
that's the
No,
somatic
that's
part.
good. Yep. You sneak a finger
Okay,
point in.
so so you're just gonna hear it like yeah, they kind of found out about the thing. Oops. And yours was the only code name I can remember. And yeah. What's up?
Well, I hope your family's doing well. Maybe a little warning next time.
If I was able to get warning to you, I just thought that you were just you just give me the look that you're pretty astute, or at least not slow, that that maybe you could. Did you get in trouble? I hope you know. And I'm gonna pretend like you're dressing me down, like you're you know.
They may be, yeah. So I'm kind of like gesturing, even though my words are like still kind sounding, but I'm like gesturing as if I was like pissed.
I you know.
But
It
you know,
was
they made me sit down in a room for 2 fucking hours,
that's terrible.
and that tea
The-
was some of the worst tea I've ever had.
all the torture. I hate when you have, you know, terrible materials, but I didn't
But-
mean to put you through that.
But I've got you covered, though.
Okay, I got your back too. I like you already, Grundy. But I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. Bye.
All right, as you were. then I go and eat this slop that's in front of me.
Nice. All right.
What are we eating?
Yeah, what are we?
Let's see. Oh, it is so yesterday's meal was pretty well made, well crafted. There were some meat options, vegetarian options, your typical kind of fish, chicken, steak even yesterday. Very well prepared meal yesterday. Today, almost everything kind of pools out in the tray. Like it has a mostly liquid consistency. There's sort of a gruelish meal, then my gosh, what is it? My freaking grandmother used to make this.
Gravy?
Goulash, Greek goulash. There's a few other things that are just no breads, no meats, just like things, spoons. You're using spoons tonight.
Okay, so mid-90s middle school lunch. Gotcha.
Square ass people.
Is that a bone or sand? I don't know.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Anything for Liazana tonight? We're just looking to eat.
I don't think so, because she's mostly been like trying to keep to herself to avoid anything.
Yeah. Breathe with anything?
Nope. Again, just looking sad and lonely as she just kind of just slowly eats. Well, actually, probably quickly eats because she's probably starving. But
Okay. Anything for Zia tonight?
So you kind of just see a large kind of spire of food that's very slowly wobbling back and forth on the platter, going over to the sitting with the like very average people table, plopping
Nice.
down,
Mhm.
maybe a little bit goes off to the side either way, and Zia just is not talking, not interacting with anybody, and just shoveling.
That's amazing. I love that picture. All right. Let's see. I would like to ask Grundy to do a perception check from earlier in the day. I'm just calling back to something from earlier in the day with this. And then everyone to do a perception check. And so Grundy, you'll actually end up doing 2, but let me know this one at a time.
what are we rolling, Dan? I'm sorry.
All right,
Perception.
you said 2 perception checks?
Let me know what the first one is, and I'll pause there, and I'll check everyone's.
All right, first one is 8.
Okay.
I'm gonna use physical dice for the second one.
Okay. That first one is for when you were leaving analytics. See if you could spot any alternate routes or anything else, but they have a really good system for keeping people that are being interrogated or questioned from seeing any sensitive data. And unfortunately, with an 8, there wasn't any overlap in that. What was your second one?
Got a +2. Rolling the D20. Dirty 20.
Okay, nice. Sinister.
I got a 19.
Okay, nice. Liazana.
23.
Jeez, all right. Breathe up.
I also got a 23.
No pressure, Zia.
I got a 14.
Oh, good. Okay. Let me bring up the map here then. Okay. So.
Hunger makes us hyper vigilant, apparently.
Yeah, for real. Now that you've been here 2 days, you're starting to get not just a lay of the land. You know what some of these other buildings are and such. But additionally, you've probably been scouting for where was this information going to be held, whatever it is you're looking for. How are you going to get it? You're starting to piece those pieces of puzzle together. Almost definitely, if there, the information has to pass through surveillance at some point, you would imagine. Surveillance, there's a small section um, that this will be sort of from talking to people, breaks and other things. Little tiny bits of information are starting to add up with those perception checks, listening in on convos and such. There's a command building, of course. That probably houses like the top secret info, or maybe you could find something in like an officer's room or something along those lines. The surveillance, again, probably it's almost a hit or miss, but you feel like they probably have something in there regarding it's more than just surveillance over this little island. There's a small section that governs the camp. The surveillance has a lot to do with like Atmos, at least. Like as you're going through your analytics, they have a lot of surveillance running through Atmos Isles. Most of the things that you've gone through have been through Atmos. There have been a few things in Staffney, a few things back of the twin cities of Sandier. I think that's it that you've seen run through here. Much less stuff in those other two places. Analytics feels more like a building that this stuff passes through in the way it passes through surveillance, passes through analytics, and then probably goes to command. So if it's fresh information you're looking for, you might find that in surveillance, maybe in a much higher level of the analytics building, or possibly in command. It's still kind of a general idea, but you're narrowing it down. It's clearly not, those other two buildings are practical education buildings. You're not sure what the ships are for yet. You've got the barracks to the left and the cafeteria up here at the top. So just to give you somewhat of a rundown. Okay. You get your bellies full. It's time for bed. These escort you back to the barracks. I'm gonna say with those amazing perception checks, you've only had one night here, but you notice that there's a lot of MPs that guide you from building to building. But at night around the barracks, it's just patrols, usually 2 at a time, maybe 3 patrols in shifts, 4-hour shifts. But hasn't been quite long enough to get the timing or the breaks or anything to try and sneak out. Confidently anyway. You can always try. Excuse me. Hopefully that gives information. Do you have any questions on any of that? Then...
Don't say I could try to break out.
Nice.
Wow.
That's awesome. Do any of you have anything that you want to do tonight?
Party sounds interesting. But maybe I'm gonna wait and just like be observant, and I'm gonna try and see the frequency of the patrols to attempt to sneak out.
Understood.
And since the ships are over closer to the command building, I would attempt to see where any of the patrols that way too.
Sorry, excuse me.
Because I can't help myself.
I mean, most of this you can kind of do from within. There's enough windows, and they're open, so they're screened windows, but they're open at night, so you can get some air in these barracks. Again, their bunks are 3 high. Go ahead and make an investigation check to try and keep a careful eye out, like as guards pass by windows. If you're looking to investigate other buildings, you'll probably have to like find a way to try. You'll be seen in here looking out windows. If you're taking that risk to look at other buildings, you may. Otherwise, from your bed.
For now, I want to observe how often the patrols and where they how they move to detect a pattern.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I got a dirty 20.
Nice. All right. You begin to suss out tonight's pattern. It seems slightly different than yesterday's. Again, kind of feels like almost everything here is a test. You kind of get this feeling because the patterns are different enough from last night where you're like, is that part of this? Like they keep changing things up and maybe assessing and paying attention is important thing. Oh, hydrate. Thank you very much. Capricious Fury.
Ooh. Oh, my water.
Now
Oh.
who needs water? Oh, that's good. That's good.
The
That's
beer count.
good. But you do see there's a definite clear pattern to their three patrols, two persons each. There's probably like a minute and a half window every 20 minutes or so to where if a person were to be stealthy enough, they could probably get from here to the edge of the camp. At least not being seen by these patrols. You don't know what else is out there.
What's the worst that could happen?
Nice.
I think I would I think I would, before I attempt this, let one of the people. I mean, is everybody in here, or are we all in the same
You are
barracks?
all in the same barracks.
I'm gonna let who's the stealthiest out of all? I'm gonna let Zia know what's going on. Hi, I'm Zane Kingseeker. How are you?
Okay, wait. Is this in our head right now?
No. I'm just I can't do the magic because I'm scared that that's gonna do it. I'm just pretending to say hello
you're
to
like-
you.
You're talking to me in person.
Yes.
Like you're right next to me.
Yes.
Like you're on the edge of the bed while I'm trying to sleep, or like poking me, or what?
I'm gonna poke you.
Okay.
What's up?
Because I think Zia's just gonna continue to pretend to be asleep.
No, you're not asleep. I know you're not asleep. And just continue. I'm gonna sneak out of here. All right. And then he just walks off. I'm gonna sneak out of here.
Oh god.
There's a party, and I'm gonna go and investigate near the command building. But if something happens to me, just tell them I was feeling bad about my mother.
Okay, but like trying to whisper as much as possible. Probably not doing the best. What if the person who told you about this was one of the surveillance people and it's a trap?
Beat him up. I don't know. I just want. There he is. I mean, we gotta investigate this thing, and I don't have anything. Do you have anything?
Nice.
And then he's just gonna pop off.
Amazing.
So, yeah, I'm gonna wait till it seems like majority of the barracks is trying to be sleeping, and as the patrol passes to try and get out. Maybe.
Okay. Make an initial stealth check to go through like the barracks quietly, like to not wake anyone and hopefully not arouse any. My blue moonlight on here.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna do a general perception check for people here tonight. All right, what'd you get?
26.
Okay. You feel pretty confident as you quietly sneak through the barracks. And up to the door, you wait carefully for the patrols. Open the door without a sound. Slip out quickly, close it without a sound. Sounds of crickets and even some evening cicada fill the air. You look both ways. As you step out, you have, again, I think at about 20 seconds, I think. You take a quick look at this. You are in the barracks. You have the surveillance bill. If you're headed to the party, you've got to walk down that road. You can either walk down the road between surveillance and analytics, or you can try and loop around behind the practical ed building, behind surveillance, and like dot between the ships over to that ship next to analytics and command.
Which way does the patrol seem to be going?
They seem to be going, two of them go counterclockwise, one goes clockwise.
I want to kind of thread the needle, but I want enough to where I can try and hide behind some buildings.
In the southern part here, those green patches are trees, so you could kind of dot into the forested area. It's not super dense, but enough to maybe, in the dark, hide behind.
Yeah, I would like to do that.
Okay. You dart over with your stealth check and zig and zag a little bit through the trees and hide. Go ahead and do a fresh, I'm going to say perception check at this point. Since you're in the woods, you're just listening out for any other patrols or anything.
That's not bad, all right. 19.
Okay. Keep a careful ear
And
out.
this is night, yes.
Yeah. Your superior night dark vision is really coming in handy. That 120 feet, you can see all the way through the slightly dense, not too dense forest here, and you make out a couple other patrols as you kind of make your way south through the forest here. You're kind of looping down, and you're gonna go underneath surveillance because there's a little bit of a break. You've got to dart between this bundle of trees and the next one right behind below surveillance. Let's say you spot a building that you haven't really walked by yet. The only building here, I think, that you don't know the purpose of in the south. A rather small building, smaller even than the cafeteria. It doesn't have windows. It has slats up above, like vents almost. Seems to be locked up, heavily patrolled. Enough where none of the patrols seem to be, they're all in pairs. Also 3 going around here, but it's a much smaller building. 3 groups of 2. You're probably pretty far away, and they probably won't notice you with your stealth checks really high. But I am going to ask you to do a quick either athletics or acrobatics check to dart between this bundle of trees and the next one. Maybe 20, 30 feet
I'm
up.
gonna go acrobatics.
Okay. This will be more about like diving in.
Nice.
22.
You hustle, and you haven't eaten all day, and then you ate a bunch, and now you're here. And so, but you dive and tumble perfectly up.
Nobody saw that.
Yeah, it's expertly done. And you look about. You're now traveling just beneath the surveillance building. It's a really large ship. I think the Caravel style ship, or galley ship.
I
Rather.
would like to make it to the ship before I attempt the other building.
The last thing. Okay. Yeah, there's this ship, and then the next ship where the party's supposed to be at. So this ship again is just sort of up on 12 by 12 posts that are sort of angled like this beneath the ship to hold it up. Several arrays. There are, you don't see any patrols in the sandy, dirty, the dirt covered area that these ships are built up in. But you're looking at going right along the outer wall of surveillance or looping around the ship by that heavily patrolled building. Do you want to proceed? And if
Surveillance.
So,
I don't want to be seen. I don't want to even. I'm trying to avoid. I'm pulling a Metal Gear Solid without the cardboard box.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Excuse me. All right, so there's some patrols around surveillance as well. You have probably a 30-second window here. This is a little bigger than the barracks, but same number of patrols. You're gonna have to run pretty far to get to that ship. This one will have to be an athletics check. As soon as this patrol gets around the corner, you're ready to, you'll dart to this ship, but you know you can't wait. There's nowhere to hide under this ship. You're gonna have to bolt past the ship to the party ship and board it.
I don't have any modifiers for athletics.
Oh no.
Well, you can take a moment and consider in case you were like,
But I rolled an 18.
okay, excellent. You hustle and you get underneath, some of the supports of the first one. Look, quick cursory glance. Okay, you're fine. Some dust is kicking up behind you as you run. You feel the looseness of the gravel kind of slip here and there as you're just bolting as fast as your body will take you. You get to the ship. There's no gangplank or anything down. You're going to have to climb the supports to get up on the ship. You thought at least there'd be a gangplank here, but as you're kind of looking under the supports and around, you don't see one. You have to do one more athletics check to climb up. Either into a porthole or onto the top of the ship and down the staircase.
Or I could cast levitate, but I'll try. I will try to climb it. What's the worst that can happen with my noodle arms?
Nice.
Is it athletics?
It's athletics. And the DC is a little bit lower because you rolled so well on your last athletics check to hustle.
Well, thank goodness, because that's a 14.
That's enough. Okay, excellent. You're kind of out of breath at this point. Yeah, you get up on the deck, and the person was right. At least so far, you don't see anyone. But there is, there's in any ship a stairway down, and he did say it was in the galley of the ship.
Does it sound like anyone's here?
Not yet.
Okay, so I will go inside the ship and stay in there for a little bit.
Make a so if you're in the stairwell, that first stairwell, just like keeping an ear out for a minute. I gotta make a perception check to kind of listen outwardly around the ship and like down the stairwell.
Yes. Whoa. Okay. 13.
Okay. You don't hear anyone walking this plaza. That seemed to be accurate. You don't really hear anyone down below, but again, he said down in the the very bottom of the ship there.
Okay. I'm gonna stay where I am. Am I able to see from where I am the command building? Like, can I try and scope that out where I am?
If you went back up on the deck, you would be sort of not in the center of the ship, but a little bit down southwest. You could go around the cabin and stay on the upper deck, but it's pretty high visibility up on the deck. You imagine there might be some porthole, so it is next to the command building.
I would like to find some portholes where I'm not noticeable, so I can scope out the ship and wait for the party.
All right. You imagine that there are 3 floors on the ship by the size of it, and then that's the belly of the ship below that where the party's supposed to be happening. This first level down doesn't seem to have portholes. There's small cabins, no portholes. You'd have to go down one more level to the second level below deck. If you do, you'll find the portholes there.
I would like to do that.
Right, you find a few portholes. Make a let's see. Well, I guess you made the perception check 13. You still don't hear anything from down below. Go ahead and if you head over to a porthole, you can do a fresh perception check to kind of give once over of the command.
That's better, a dirty 20.
Okay. Patrols here. There are actually guards stationed here. You see the same 3 patrols in teams of 2. There's a door on the west end of command, 2 doors on the west end of command that you can see. Both have 2 guards stationed at each door. And then you can't see the back of the building, but the front right of the building has a smaller door with just 1 guard keeping watch. And then the patrols kind of patrolling around.
I'm going to put a pin in that and continue to observe and wait for the party. Otherwise, if there is no party, I will contemplate my life choices and see
Nice.
see what I would do next. But for now,
Okay. All right. You don't hear anything from here. Do you want to go down and see if there's a party or get closer and listen?
what time do I have a sense of what time it
It's
is?
probably getting close
I
to
heard?
midnight. No, it's about an hour into when the party is supposed to start. 11:02, I think they said.
I don't think there's a party. But I will go because the party, it's been so long since I've been to a party. I can't
Nice.
resist the party aspect, even though at this point he's like, this is probably a trap. But okay, let's go.
Nice. All right. You head down another deck, and as you get close to the final stairwell that goes down to that lower storage, it's actually a ladder here, just a straight down ladder. You hear some someone hushing as you approach that ladder.
So I'm gonna be stealthy.
Okay.
I want to sneak up on him.
Gotcha. I'll make a fresh stealth check in here. It's going to be pretty tricky because it's so it was dead of the night, and it's a creaky show.
I disappear into the night.
Nice. That good?
30?
All right, that's like almost god level. So okay. Someone like maybe this is what you hear downstairs. Maybe not. I don't know. And someone else is like, "You're being so paranoid. How are we supposed to have any fun if you keep stopping us saying you're hearing someone? We're just gonna go home." No. Like, stay. That's good. And it's that guy from lunch. Clearly, that guy from lunch. No one's gotta go home. I mean, like, you can if you want, but like, I'm sorry. I don't want any. I feel responsible for all of you.
Oh.
Right. I just opened the door very gingerly. Yeah.
You open the door and there's like a little ladder down to kind of where they are. You just kind of like down the ladder. Nice. Oh. That's too loud. Oh, you made it. Oh.
How's it going?
And you see like half a dozen people. Sort of like an awkward party at this point where like people aren't really engaging with one another. They're all kind of timid and nervous. They're going to get caught, but there's some drinks about and just, people have gotten comfortable. There's a couple of people chatting, maybe sharing some stories and stuff. Just people trying to have a sense of like peace and togetherness at the camp here.
I'm going to enjoy the party, but also, casually try and get information.
Okay. Right.
From them. That's what I would spend my time doing.
Nice. I'll let you do a quick investigation check and see, like, with probing questions, if there's any info you can get.
I wish it was a perception, but okay. Not bad. It's a 16.
Okay. You get a lot of answers, sort of, your guide there answers a bit, but isn't really any new information. But you've done a good job of like setting up questions in a way that might come in handy later if they discover things. Like, oh man, by the way, and fill you in. Like, yeah, it's weird.
Okay.
If you ever catch that, let me know because I could have sworn I saw this thing. this, or whatever. So Sinister is able to have, liven the party up a bit to a level that doesn't catch attention.
Do
And
they happen to know what that little building with the slats is? That
no.
nobody.
Yeah, unfortunately, none of them would know.
All right.
Yeah. You leave first, second. There's probably 6 people, 7 including you.
Let them go first in case they get caught, and I can just kind of scoop.
Nice. All right. Well, you give them the time to go, and as you're dashing back through, behind surveillance and this and that, you do see 2 of the couple. There were 2 women that were chatting and seemingly, a little enamored with one another as they were sharing stories and relaxing. Both are stopped by MPs, by patrols before out. Not at the barracks, probably a little closer towards surveillance. Use the opportunity to get back into the barracks. But you're like, oh man, they're caught. I hope they don't say anything. I hope they don't, but it was a good distraction.
Right. So I hope they don't squeal on me, and I'm just gonna dive back into my bunk and just try and remember the layout and how many guards are at what buildings, and that way I can maybe tell the rest of them at some point.
Right, nice. All right, you climb back into bed. About 2, so it's about 2:30, 2:15 when you get back. Around 3 a.m., a number of individuals, including your troop commander, barge in, ringing pans. Ting, 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 ting. Time to wake up, everybody. The day's a start.
At
Our
2
work-
a.m.?
Our work.
3 a.m.
Yeah, 3 a.m. Our work doesn't wait for no. Get yourselves up. He's patting beds and pulling blankets off people's beds and stuff. A couple of the people have buckets of water they're splashing on people. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Line up outside, let's go. Anybody?
Yeah. Yeah. We really have to line up.
Okay.
Yeah, Zia, like as soon as they came in, woke up and was at station already. Like this is just normal.
Nice. Okay, Liazana,
Bed's
you're
not big enough for
Oh
Grundy.
yeah.
Clunk. Oh, that's amazing.
Kind of just rolls off, falls on the floor, and gets up.
Oh, okay. Everyone's up. The day starts in earnest at 3 a.m.
Oh, Jesus.
They bring you through the course that Brilith had to run
Oh,
the day before yesterday. We're starting off with some light calisthenics. You never know when you're going to have to run, hustle, or any of that for your life, for your assets' life. When you're all done and prettied up from here, we'll have ourselves about to eat. Go ahead and mark 1 point of exhaustion
Reela's
for
like,
each of you.
Reela's like, oh, hey, I've done this before.
Your body's a little bit
What?
used to it. It's difficult, extremely difficult, but not like the other day.
Real
Probably
quick,
got the
what time?
liquor sweats.
What time did we go to bed? Like, what time was lights out?
Oh, lights out was y'all didn't get to bed till close to 10:30, 11. It's 1 point of exhaustion for everyone. No one's getting a full rest tonight.
Even if I trance.
Let's see. You know what? I think you're gonna get away with that. That's 4 hours. Yeah. So Sinister, you'll have it only because you were out late. But otherwise, 4 hours is enough. Yeah. Ooh.
I
Is-
did not.
is
I know
there-
for a fact he didn't get in this.
Is there a place to mark exhaustion on D&D Beyond?
That's a really good question.
Yes.
There is? Okay.
There is. Go into conditions. It's next to your defenses. You click that that square, and it'll give you a bunch of conditions you can add.
There's
Oh,
like an
okay.
exhaustion. You can
Thank
put which level you're at.
you.
Oh,
Right,
nice. Excellent. So cool. All right. And you are worked on that course. It takes, you know what? Can you
Daytime
each
too.
do? Oh, it's daytime. Yeah, go ahead and make an athletics check, and don't forget you're at 1 point exhaustion.
At disadvantage.
I think so, but it might be. I think it's checks. Let me check. Oops, open that the wrong way. Oh my goodness. Exhaustion. There we are. Disadvantage on ability checks. Oof. Yep.
Okay.
Okay. So everyone except Liazana will have disadvantage. But go ahead and do an athletics check at disadvantage, except for Liazana. Let me put this back on the RP. And
Can
we'll
I
go
sing
around.
to myself like you can do it and give myself inspiration?
Not yet, not yet. Only because that's a class feature of a different school, I think, or at a
Yes.
different level. See, that's awesome. See what you got.
14.
Okay, that's pretty. I mean, that's a good roll. The course is really, really difficult. It's one of those barbed wires you're crawling under, climbing over. You still do a pretty good job, but without doing it every day, body's a bit, wiped by the end. So it takes. I'm gonna say with that, it takes you the standard 3 hours to complete it.
Okay.
Said athletics, right?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Uh,
I have no modifiers for that. Yay.
Breelitz, what'd you get at disadvantage?
I still got an 18.
See, it paid off doing it the other day.
Mm-hmm.
It takes you probably like 2 hours and 40 minutes or something, but
Okay.
it's still exhausting. It's a ridiculous course,
Sure.
but you sure feel
Sure.
better than the other day.
Sure.
Liazana, how about you?
22.
Ooh.
Liazana, you've been training for
Impressed.
Ninja Warrior, and you go through. I mean, you complete this. I'm gonna say in like 2 hours and 25 minutes, and
I mean,
you're
For
Mhm.
what it's worth, she kind of does have a background in like surviving in the wild, and probably has had to do a lot of like climbing and running and like the whole 9 yards. So I
Nice.
imagine it's natural to her.
Nice.
Plus, she actually got a decent amount of transcend.
That's
so.
true. You got an actual rest in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, you finished 2 hours 15 minutes, and I mean you're winded. You can't help but be winded with this course. It's insane.
Mhm.
But it's because you put in your full effort and got it done in 2 hours 15 minutes. You get some kudos from some of the trainers there.
And a huge smile from Breelith.
Aww, that's sweet.
I miss you.
Oh. Love is in the air. Sinister, what'd you get?
8.
Oh,
Well, I can't do double disadvantage, okay?
Yeah, true.
The sunlight sensitivity plus exhaustion plus hungover plus did all that cool stuff earlier.
Yeah.
He's just like,
Just too much for Sinister this morning. Like, are you kidding? Are you kidding? And it's mud and it's all this other stuff. Takes you about a full 4 hours to complete the course, and you were wiped. Like you the giraffe legs, like baby giraffe legs, like. Nice.
I
And
usually have people do this for me.
awesome, yeah. Grundy, how about you?
I got an 11.
Okay, not terrible. I mean, again, this course is insanity, and it really, your muscles burn at first, and your lungs burn, your throat, because you haven't had to do this level of intensity work in a long time. But you finish the course. It's probably maybe 3 hours, 10 minutes or so, and you're feeling pretty winded at the end. But 3 hours is their mark for completing it. All right, I should do Ashavar. Poor Ashavar.
Grundy
sweet
is
soul.
meant to be standing ground and not like,
Oh.
running after things. So
Ashavar finishes maybe like 3 hours and 5 minutes. She's just ahead of you, Grundy. Also just kind of wiped out. Like, right, this is fun. This is good.
Far beats me.
All right, day 3 carries on. You've got oh, you start learning today in Gen Ed class about assets. That is
No.
people that you're trying to convert to your side of things. In this case, most often, people in the Sky Pirate group, trying to turn them to the UAF. And it's very generalized work today. It's about 5 hours after breakfast, talking about um, if you're unsure whether or not they're going to become an asset, they're not going to become an asset. Like, you can tell when someone's going to become an asset, and then you give them what they need to get there, to help them with the courage, the finances, whatever it is that is at your disposal anyway. Use it, but you will know if you're questioning it, they're not going to be an asset. But they talk about what kind of information to share in case they are discovered and interrogated. And it's all very, very generalized. A lot of note taking for 5 hours if you're one to take notes.
Sarah is sleeping through this class.
Nice. Awesome.
Even though he trances, he's noticeably snoring.
Excuse me. Where's my I'm so sorry. Let me find where's my other class here? Yep, there's here we go. Okay. You have a new class today after that. Brief lunch. Out in the field, not in the cafeteria. And you meet a dwarf, maybe early 200s. She has dark, like coal black hair, with a few early streaks of silver in it. It's short and braided, green eyes, sort of a grayish skin, about 4 feet tall. And hey, so today you're all gonna learn about how to detect when you're being tailed and how to escape a tail or how to corner one. How many of you have already been tailed in your lives? Had someone on your tail pulling you about? I know one.
Starts to raise his hand and then wait.
Nice.
He's saying King Sinker's never been tailed.
Nice. There's a couple people sheepishly raise a hand to me. And did you figure it out before they jumped you without her? She kind of goes back and forth with some questions. All right. Well, we're going to be working today with Isabel Laufensteel, and she's going to give you some pointers on the disguise work. If you're being tailed and you need to throw them off your trail. The rest of you, I'm going to run you through a course. You're going to navigate partially built town just behind the forest line. And you're going to tell me at the end of it whether or not you're tailed. I'm going to leave about a dozen of you at a time with Professor Laufensteel to learn the other bits of information. And so she does. She kind of runs you through like tails, being tailed and all those details. Isabel Laufensteel gives you additional information. How for this, you want to keep disguises real simple. It's not about prosthetics or anything else. It's simply about changing 2 or 3 basic items of wear on you. It can be as simple as changing a hat and a scarf, removing glasses and a jacket, your shirt underneath. It only takes about 3 things to change to completely throw off the humanoid mind, and she goes into the psychology of it and everything else. Can I have everyone do Oh my goodness. I guess let's say roll a D100 to absorb information from this.
Ooh.
Is that still with? Well, I guess it's not really an ability check.
Yeah.
So.
Where are my dice?
All right, we'll start.
Oh, that's good or bad.
Grundy, we'll start with you this time. Is that 55? I'm so sorry, I can't quite see the numbers.
Still can't see him.
95? Oops.
I think it's
You're
a 98.
muted.
I forgot I was muted.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
98.
Okay, 98. Thank you. Sinister? Nice.
93.
Okay.
I don't know if that's good or bad.
I like to mix it up. Lisa?
Mhm.
A whole 16.
Okay.
Aw.
Breathe it.
An 80.
Okay. And Zia?
34.
Okay. And roll to see where our mark is.
Quite the gamut.
Okay. Anyone that got between 35 and 55? Anyone between 35 and 55? Nope. Okay. Anyone between 25 and 65? Zia, you've got basically like a B plus for today. Anyone between 15 and 75? Okay, you got a C plus today, Liazana. Anyone between 5 and 85? Okay, you got like a D plus, like you were catching on some of the things, not quite. All right, and then I think the other two were above 95, right? It was a.
I'm a 93.
I
think he was just asleep. He didn't even take the test.
yeah, like, oh, this grass is. Nice. Yeah. Whatever it is about Raynan's Red Digger's teaching, she's just it's just not clicking today. This tailing business and everything else. I would like in your notes, I would like Sinister and Zia. Let's see, Zia mark off a analytics success, just analytics 1. Sinister, I think you've successfully done that twice, right? Okay.
Yes.
So mark off analytics 2 for yourself. Relith analytics 1.
Mm-hmm.
Did anyone else succeed in their analytics? Liazana maybe? No? Randy? No? Okay. For the disguise kit, Zia, please mark off disguise 1. Sinister disguise 1. Relith, I think, did really well. Those are disguise 1. And Liazana disguise 1, because you did really well in your class. Okay. And let's see, we had a B. Somebody had a B plus, right? Today for the okay, Zia. Please make I just being tailed 1. As I'm not sure what else to call it.
My tail is 1.
Nice.
Got it.
For Isabel Laughingsteel's disguise stuff today, it's more about using your wisdom. What to quickly change in the moment that you think will make a difference. So can I have everyone just do a quick wisdom check for this? It'll be just a normal wisdom check.
Which this would be with the disadvantage.
This would be right. Yeah, with disadvantage.
Just checking.
Thank you. If you have Sinister, you can add your +3 because of the disguise.
Okay.
Whoa.
All right, that helps.
Nice. Oh, good. Ashabar did 1 too.
Oh, not bad. All right.
All right. Zia, what'd you get?
7.
Oh, okay. This part's a little trickier. You're thinking on the fly, and man, you're tired. Breakfast was really thin. There was not a lot of breakfast, and it's just a rough start. Yeah. As far as the disguise 1, Okay.
It's also got proficiency as well.
Right. Breeless, what'd you get?
That is an 18.
Okay, give yourself another disguise point.
Woo!
Yeah, despite your sort of very unique appearance and lumbering size, you managed to kind of drop a few things in your uniform and pull it up, ruffle one thing up, and pull. There's some props there that she has you use, and to sufficiently you can be mistaken for another furbolg.
Okay.
Ryan.
Yeah,
Not a
they
dwarf?
look so
Right.
sad. Yeah.
Mhm.
Did they lose their family? Oh,
His family
what's his
behind.
family behind? I love Steven Universe. Oh, cookie cat. Liazana, what'd you get?
Dirty 20.
Oh, okay. Give yourself another disguise point. Same thing. Very adeptly swap out gear to kind of lose a tail that is not laughing steel. Sinister, what you got?
I had amazing rolls at disadvantage, 19 and 18, so 21.
Okay, nice. Give yourself a disguise point. Another disguise point. Same thing. Swap some
Because
stuff around.
I
quickly.
have 0 for my wisdom.
Nice.
So the proficiency helped.
Oh, thank goodness. Grundy, what you got?
Grundy got a 6.
Oh, sweet
On
Grundy,
your
no.
wisdom?
Oh.
There is no
Wait.
way to disguise somebody of my size.
Oh,
All right.
you don't need a disguise.
Nice.
It's like, I am the disguise.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. All right. So we're gonna go through. I'm gonna advance now that you kind of have a feel for what the camp is is like. We're gonna go through some of the academics, and we're gonna start changing focus over a little bit to getting to the bottom of the mystery. So we'll have everyone do when this class is done. You have another really thin meal. There's like an apple and 2 slices of bread and some water.
He
That's
was
for
this
everyone's lunch.
miserable. Just, you've never seen a more miserable furbolg.
Oh.
I'm curious. Does Liazana see how miserable Rayleigh looks?
She's not hiding it.
Nice. There you go. Mm-hmm.
So she's gonna get up, like she's gonna like look over and see how you look, and she's gonna get up and walk over to you and say, excuse me, is anyone sitting here?
No.
May I?
Yes. Yeah.
And probably just slightly louder than she should be saying it. She's gonna say, my name's Elizabeth, and she'll like put her hand out to you, like super stiff.
I'm Margaret.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you
Furiously
too.
shaking, like she's trying so hard to hold it in. You can have my apple and bread. I don't want it.
You didn't have a lot of food. We didn't give you a lot of food.
I know. I'm used to it.
They would
Are
have.
you sure?
Sorry.
No, go ahead, Dan.
I just want to add, as part of this limited diet, they made sure to tell everyone there's no sharing. You're welcome to, and roleplay how you want. I just want to add that fun note behind it.
Okay. Okay, she's gonna look around and kind of see where like all of the guards are positioned, like all of the IPs and stuff.
Make a perception check.
Oh my gosh, I was doing so well.
Oh no.
I rolled a 12.
Gotcha. I mean, 12 isn't terrible, and you're looking about, and there aren't many stationed on the inside. There's like 2 MPs by the entrance and 2 by the other entrance / exit in the other corner. They're just watching their business. None of them seem to be looking over at you.
Okay. she's gonna kind of like whisper and say, "Hey, I know we're not supposed to share, but and she's going to like kind of start breaking up the bread into like little pieces, and she's gonna try to sneak like a little piece at a time of the bread to her.
Okay.
Into her mouth.
Like a baby bird.
Just drop it in.
She'll hold on to her apple, but she's gonna like break up the bread into little bits so it's easier to like sneak to her.
And Brelis, how are you responding?
She will, when she's given the bread, will just kind of like look at Liazana and just kind of, and just try to kind of sneak it, I guess, into. Are there any pockets on the?
There are. They're all buttoned. You know, they have a button that fastens them shut.
Can she unbutton the button?
You can give it a yeah. Go for it. Seems to unbutton.
Okay.
Roll perception.
No
you-
perception.
button?
I can see the button.
Roll sleight of hand.
It's an athletics check.
Dexterity, if you think about it.
For real, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what would she do? What would she do? She'd probably like action stepping in her pocket. She'd probably just like try to put some of it on her plate and then just take some of it in her hand and just stuff it in her mouth.
Alright. You spend lunch kind of doing that.
Mm-hmm. And like so Liazana will probably like still like keep eating like on her apple and trying to keep an eye out on where like the MPs are looking and everything else, but you know, trying to make it seem like she's still eating, of course, but still like sneaking Brelis some bread.
All right, yeah, you keep a careful eye out from the MPs with that perception check. You never see them look over at you. You seem to be kind of monitoring their space and not really paying attention to the cafeteria.
Okay.
Right.
And Brelis will just at the end of lunch be like, "Thank you."
You're welcome. I hope we can get to know each other.
You too.
Anyone else have anything they want to do for this kind of late, like 3 p.m. lunch?
The only thing Grundy is looking at, this is to scale, by the way, because of how big he is. Is this supposed to feed me?
Nice, yeah. It's not
The
much.
apple is just like really, like, and you just hear like across the entire room, you just hear his belly going.
Hungry Grundy. Nice. All right.
Is this how peasants eat?
Nice. Well, awesome. All right. Well, as cafeteria lunch is dismissed, basically they call for everyone to stand up and, file in, and everyone brings their trays over one at a time, empties them in the garbage. It's like a single file thing where everyone does their part from the tables towards the front of the cafeteria and heads out. As we're doing so, most of you are, maybe 2/3 of the cafeteria is cleared out. Most of you have gotten out. The MPs standing on either side of the door call for a halt as there's another military individual here. They have that same insignia from the surveillance uniform, and they are talking to one of the MPs. Then they stand up or they turn away and walk away. The 2 MPs at that particular door call out, "Cadet Chaucer, Cadet Commonbrook, please return to your seats. Everyone else is dismissed." So they're dismissed. So the rest of you head back out. The rest of you are headed to your favorite class, analytics. Yay! Um. So, Breelith and Lizana, do you return to your seats?
Yeah, Breelith will return to her seat.
Yep.
If you sit back down, the MPs, everyone else files out. The MPs stand at the door. You two are just sitting next to one another in the middle of the cafeteria for the next 25 minutes, waiting in the heat. MPs just looking ahead at both doors, not minding either of you. Doors open up, and your troop commander arrives. Francis Woodleaf. Says something. Says something to the MPs. And the two MPs step outside. Close the doors behind them. Looks over at the other MPs and gives them a nod, and they step outside. Doors. And the slow, heavy footfalls of Troop Commander Woodleaf walk across the floorboards of the cafeteria, across the front, slowly, determined, turning and walking down the aisle opposite. The two of you are next to one another. He sits down in the bench seat, across from the two of you. Now, I'd like to say it's good to see you again. Cadet looks at you, Breelith. I was hoping I was just hoping for better.
That's right. It's Stephanie laughing, not Breelith. I don't know what the problem is.
The problem is that, what are you two here for? What are you here at this camp for?
To train?
Looks at you, Lizana.
Training.
Right. Now, every bit of this week is set up to help train you. That includes the rules put in place. Do you want each other to fail out in the field?
I would fail out in the field if I didn't have enough food in my stomach.
See, deep disappointment across his face.
Sure.
And you, Cadet, looks at Lizana. You want to set her up to fail?
Sir, I think it's important to look out for each other. Because what's the point of caring for everybody if one of us is hurting?
Well, that there.
We're only as strong as the weakest link.
That's a fine sentiment. Are you telling me that being slightly hungry is that vital? Do you think if and when you're out in the field and your tummy's rumbling, the operation should stop? What are you going to do when you've got no training on how to cope with things like hunger, weariness, and thirst? When it's your life, your asset's life? Maybe it's many comrades' lives on the line. You've got to go through the training. You've got to push through your barriers here at this camp so that you can show yourself just how strong you are.
She's going to interrupt him real quick.
Go for it.
Sorry.
No,
With all due respect, sir, permission to speak freely?
Permission granted.
You don't know where I came from. Because I actually do know what it's like to starve. Not just be slightly hungry, but actually starve. Eat by myself. for many decades, actually. So I'm sorry for looking out for a fellow comrade, because I didn't want them to feel like I felt. I understand what we're training for. I understand that being slightly hungry is to train us on surviving and serving and continuing the mission. But I don't think it should be anything that anyone should have to go through. So if you're going to drag her, for me, wanting to take care of her, she's not the one at fault. I'm just looking out for someone that I would hope would be a friend. And she's going to just kind of sit back a little bit.
I rightly admire your compassion. It's quite a thing to really, truly be survive that, especially as long as you mentioned there. Cadet Brook,
Yes.
have you ever experienced that sort of starvation?
No.
Terrible thing. I don't look at, kind of glancing over at you, Liasana. I don't think words can properly describe how it feels. It doesn't just hurt. It messes with your head. Now, you're out in the field. You have been under surveillance and are unable to procure food. And you are looking to flee a country, flee a kingdom, flee a city. And that hunger starts messing with your head, making you make foolish choices that may compromise you, your friends, those you're trying to protect. You think that some training on a slightly empty tummy to prepare you for that might be worthwhile?
Maybe.
Maybe so. I'll look, kind of over back and forth between the two of you. I reckon, maybe so.
Permission to speak freely?
Permission granted.
I know that I wasn't starving. I never said that I was. I think my friend Elizabeth here could just tell that I was lonely, more or less. I get what you're saying. I think that Elizabeth was just trying to be kind. Which I know isn't something that don't teach here. But if you want to punish, I would rather us both. I don't just punish her. I would want to as well.
I think you two would get along just fine outside of here. And I hope that both your lives are full of plenty of days where you don't have to worry about anything. Yes. But I'm asking you both, like I asked you the other night. I'll ask you as well, Cadet Chaucer. Give me a week to give you the training you need. Even if whether you understand the meaning of this training and the actions taken here or you don't, give me a week. I'm not here to make your lives miserable. I'm not set out here to make you uncomfortable for no good reason. That's not something I enjoy seeing in people. But I enjoy the knowledge of that you've been properly trained and that I've given you everything you can, everything I can. Make sure you stay alive out there. Maybe you and I sit down and 20 years from now, reminisce. Instead of laying flowers down at your plot. I want you to succeed. Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I was just gonna say insight check.
Oh, yeah, go for it. Yep.
Ooh, 23.
Nice. That seems to be genuine. He really seems to care and is worried.
Okay.
Just give me a week. Let me train you with everything I got. Just be open and receptive to it. There's a meaning behind everything. Why I do what I do here. Sometimes that means feeling hungry. Sometimes that means putting in some real difficult situations. Sometimes it means getting no sleep. Sometimes it means me yelling in your face. But you're going to be better for it at the end of this here week. You're going to be better and safer. You're going to be able to take care of yourselves better, and those people that you are trying to protect, shoulder to shoulder, be better at keeping them safe too. Now, you're both going to get a consequence for this, absolutely. It may seem small, sharing bread. I think that's a fine, lovely notion. You seem to both have a lot of compassion in your hearts. I think outside of this camp, some of this your military experience, inside of it too, you're going to do just fine. Get along fine. Would work with me, yeah.
Okay.
We on the
Yes,
same
sir.
page? All right. Well, you're going to have to run this morning's course. You know the drill? 3 times over. Then you can head to analytics or bed, whichever's first. Whichever's still open.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
You might want to divvy up that bread out of those pockets for the course. I don't mind if you nibble on that when you don't get any mud in there. Stands
Yes,
up
sir.
and fist, and he does a salute and
Sleep.
walks away. Does a loud whistle, and the MPs come back in, and he walks out. And nods and talks briefly to one of the MPs who comes over and gets you two set up on the course. Two of you will be looking at running the course a few times. Everyone else is headed over to analytics.
Watch Leah's on his butt run that course.
Oh my goodness. I feel like chasing that. Oh my
With
gosh.
exhaustion. Aren't you guys exhausted already?
No, for sure.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
we are.
goodness. Yeah.
Oh God, I hope that doesn't mean another point of exhaustion for them.
Nice. Yeah, so Zeus and Astaire and Grundy, you've made your way over to analytics and Ashavar. As you're approaching analytics, Professor Woodleaf is guiding you each in and kind of gives that extra praise again to look forward to seeing what you do today to Zia and Sinister. And pauses. Grundy, as you get there. I'm Corporal Darkdraft, right? There's someone to see you. Just down the hall. Yep, classroom across the way down the hall.
Very well.
The Sinister gets set up for class. Grundy, you go over and it has sort of like the Japanese style sliding doors to the classrooms. Yeah, no chalk, no buckets. You open it up, and sitting there is the Wow, that's a lot of scrolling. Is Sergeant First Class Ranticore. Yes. Corporal. Please pull up a seat. And he's got the damn saucer of tea there again. All set up for you. Let's chat. That's where
I
we'll
kind
end
of
tonight's session.
slightly crack here.
Yeah, nice. All right, we'll wrap up there. Sorry for running a little bit late. Oh, it's gonna be great. All right, well, thank you, players. Oh. No, y'all killed it. It was great. Thank you all so much for being here and playing tonight. And lots of fun.
Thank you, Dan.
Oh,
Thank
yeah.
you,
Dan.
Thank you.
Yay.
Oh, shucks.
So far, there's only one person that's like not drawing any attention.
Oh.
Everybody
Nice.
else is like risking their cover.
And that's the first time Liaison's done anything like that. Like
Mhm.
she was like actually like
And somebody
trying to
almost
stay
blew
low.
my cover,
Yeah. Oopsies. Awesome.
threw me under the ship.
Dun, dun, dun.
What I do?
What's happening?
That was fun though. That damn tea.
Love it. Well, lots of fun. I mean, it's certainly an interesting
Yes.
place, this camp. I like how you all managed it and handled it. It's not going to be the long start because obviously there's a week. But I think it'll be pretty fun. I think you'll find you all hopefully enjoy it. For everyone new here tonight, thank you so much for joining us. You've been watching an Extremis, our Sky Pirate campaign. We're in an undercover mission currently. Of fun. And for everyone that is irregular, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. I'm gonna pop up our schedule for anyone that's new. If you had fun, please consider giving us a follow. We've got a ton of content and more. On the way, we've got Mad Game with Dano and friends. Why is this the old schedule? Whatever. OBS does this sometimes. I don't have time to fix it. Maybe I do. Let me see real quick if I can pull the new one because
It is so old. That's like
I
3 weeks,
know,
4 weeks old.
right? So I'm gonna take the time. We have our lovely folks here. All right, here we go. We've got a new show in here. I just have to plug in. Lots of D&D across the evening, usually in this 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. time slot. Tower of Dreams is another D&D campaign just before us on Saturdays. You have a lot of art shows. Starfall Initiative is a 4.5-year campaign that ran that Steph is turning into a webcomic, and you get to watch her draw that out. We have Mad Indie Game Time. Steph and I play different indie games. Drawing Dan, where Steph's teaching me how to draw. I got homework in the Discord, and it's so bad but fun. It's so fun to finally have things to practice and learn. Let's see. Right after that, on Thursdays now, man, we had our inaugural show this week, and it was so great. It's Paint by Minis, where Christy, again, Christy's super modest, and she won't say this, but I will. She is a master mini painter, and I mean, an awesome human. But just somehow everyone here, we've collected fantastic people. And Chrissy's so amazing, and she's showing sharing insights with Steph on how to paint and the ins and outs of what that is to do mini painting. So oh man, it was so cool to watch. I already learned things from episode 1. It's so great.
Did you really?
I did. Well, I didn't know about a wet palette. I didn't know, I use wash, but I never cut the paint with water to the degree, I'm going to try that because I get a lot of paint on there. So it's nice. There's 4 or 5 things I made notes of. I'm like, thank you, Christy.
I was just farting around. That's cool. Thanks. You're making me blush.
Oh, it was amazing. It was so cool. I can't wait for next week. And yeah, we've got Mad Art with Steph. Steph draws art for little fan art scenes from the campaigns, or a bunch of stuff. Learning Blender with Steph, where she's learning Blender and 3D modeling and sculpting and stuff. And Mad Games at Dusk with Trisha here. She plays a bunch of really cool games and gets right into it. It's so cool. I love it. All right, I'll pull the schedule down. So consider giving us a follow. You can get notified when we go live and stuff. Thanks again so much for everyone hanging out with us. We're going to raid some of our friends over at Silver Kestrel Studios.
Nice.
Consider giving a Madbird raid for support and a little branding. And have a great night. I hope we catch you all next Saturday. Find out what's happening with Grundy and the crew. Everybody. Mysteries abound.
Yay.
Take care, everyone. Have a great
Bye.
night. Bye. Oops.